Good evening, everyone. And Wolf, that does sound very stressful. But they do say that that is like the guide to like knowing something, being able to teach it to someone else. I guess you got that going for you at least. How are we all doing, chat? How has everyone's week been so far? We've made it halfway. We're on the downhill stretch. Let me just take a swig of water. We're going to go ram some cars tonight, as the name suggests. Blazing burgers. I mean, I feel you are right. Like, I feel like the local stuff is almost always better, for the most part, than like McDonald's. Like the local chicken shop is almost always better than the local McDonald's, in my experience. Or the local pizza place, I think, to an extent, can also be better than a chain pizza place. I'm not as experienced when it comes to things like, the local sandwich shop or whatever. I never really did sandwich shops, and now I can't, seeing as I've moved outside the world of gluten and wheat. I've moved beyond that. Any new games? Not tonight. This week's going to be the same as the week before. So Wreckfest, Horizon 5, Car Mechanic Simulator. That said, as I was on the toilet, as one often does, I was thinking, I should be doing I do want to be doing different games, or a new game. That's better. But I don't know what to do. Like, as you may have guessed or noticed, there is a certain theme, and has been for almost like the past 2 weeks, I think, 2 months at this point. Maybe just a month, of more car-flavored content. With the intention being that will hopefully provide a more consistent base for people to follow and then know what they're in for. But also, I don't only play, and I don't want to only play, car games. So like you said, there's the GTA DLC, The Ballad of Gay Tony and The Lost and the Damned for GTA 4 to finish off. There's also, which is somewhat car-based, there's the Mad Max game, the open world Mad Max game, which is kind of car-focused. I mean, we could also have a look at like things like automation and actually play the campaign of that, rather than what I normally do, which is just play around in the sandbox and just make an engine and a sweet car, in my opinion at least. But there's also things, I don't know if you've encountered it on YouTube, I imagine you have, like Car for Sale Simulator. I've acquired that, where you, instead of fixing up the cars or racing the cars, you sell the cars. And that's the kind of aim of the game, to be a used car salesman. So there are other games within the kind of car universe, as it were, not the Cars universe, separate, that could be played. So, I don't know. We might have a look at Car for Sale Simulator next week. Next week is probably only going to be a single stream week on Wednesday, because I'm going away for the first little bit of the what's the word? The week of my time off. So Friday and Saturday I'll be away, and possibly Wednesday, I'm not sure. Mini holiday, yeah. But then I've got time away from work. So I'm not at work for the next 3 weeks as of next Friday. So from the 2nd of September, I'm off work until like the the 20 something, a while. So I could stream like at 10 a.m. some days if I wanted. So I can make up for it. And I am still hoping to do some sort of streamathon at some point towards the end of that. So there's things like the long drive that we could break out, a classic of the Twitch experience, the long drive. So there's that. I mean, there's a whole mess of games that I'd like to have a look at. The Wolf Among Us, or like Telltale games, you know, where you can choose your own adventure, as it were. Well, I'm tempted. I don't know if I'd be able to do a 24-hour stream. I think that might be a little bit ambitious. Partly because I've never actually done an all-nighter. Like, even at sleepovers, I don't think I've ever stayed up the whole time. I would always go to bed at like 2 a.m. or whatever. So I'm kind of... I know like a 24-hour stream is definitely like the default... not like the default objective, but like the standard, I guess, for a streamathon. You go for a 24-hour period. But I don't know, it might be more that there are a series of 12-hour streams, perhaps. I don't know. But on that horror game thing, I did pick up a Humble Bundle today, which I've been eyeing off for a little bit, which has all of the Resident Evil games. From, I guess, Resident Evil 1 through to 8, Village. So I've never played a Resident Evil game before. So there's that. There was another... I feel like there's some other horror game. Yeah, I think RE2 Remaster is included in that. The graphics on the cover art looked like it was the remaster. There's more kind of creepy investigative games like Call of Cthulhu that I've got on Steam. What else was there? I feel like I acquired some... I mean, there's the Fear 2 I have as well. You could have a look at that. Hitman's not a horror game by any stretch of the imagination. Where was it? I swear I picked up either in like the recent Steam sale or on... I've got Outlast. That's another one. That's another horror game. And I think that's all of them. I'm, as you may have noticed, I'm not a huge horror person. So I did really, really enjoy Alien Isolation when we played it before. Last year. That was a really choice game. I highly recommend that. Just because of the vibe. It was immaculate. It was such a perfect representation of the world, I thought. Yeah, I do feel like that, from what I've heard, I've never played them, as I said, the Resident Evil franchise does seem to alternate pretty wildly between kind of chill and then maybe a little bit actually terrifying. Yes, because it's the alien, right? And Ripley from Alien is the next survivor, I think they're called, right? I mean, that is pretty neat. I'm just going to open up the Epic Games launcher just to see what other horror games. Obviously, there's things like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Xbox Xbox Game Pass. Like, there's definitely plenty of choice. Amnesia, that is a game that I haven't played, and it's definitely... I feel like it definitely qualifies for that kind of status of game you should look at. Kind of like, at least for me, kind of like, damn it, I was thinking of the name of the movie, Pulp Fiction. It feels like it's kind of like Pulp Fiction for me. It's like Pulp Fiction is a movie that I don't necessarily feel a need to watch for like entertainment value or whatever, but it's a film that I feel I need to watch because of like cultural references and importance. I feel like it's a very referenced and, as a result, important film. And I think Amnesia is kind of like that. Particularly in like the content creator space. I feel like it's very important because it really did launch. I mean, it launched PewDiePie's career basically, and I think a whole other. I think Jacksepticeye to an extent, Markiplier. It really kind of launched the gameplay universe. The gameplay extended universe has so much to owe to Amnesia, I think. Yeah, I mean it's ancient at this point, the original, but at the time it was pretty cutting edge, if I remember correctly. Surprisingly, in the Epic Game Store, that I don't have any other horror games. I figured I would have because I feel like I've seen a couple on here, but maybe not. There's always Saints Row the Third remastered, but I don't know if that's a huge horror game. I think that's probably the opposite, in fact. A Jork game. Then again, there is a game here called Grime. That's a future Jow problem. I need to put on the old Discord some sort of poll to not necessarily what game, but like what genre are we looking for? More car stuff, more, I don't know, strategy games, RPG, FPS, TPS, third person shooter? Why isn't TPS a thing? Why is it only FPS? Discuss. That's weird. I guess first person shooter is a lot more common. Anyway, we can't figure that problem out now, but we can figure out is who we're going to hit. 13. You went far off. I mean, it's closer to 15 than 10 years. I've also been thinking a lot more about redeems because I was quite proud of that time travel Windows 98 redeem. So I've got ambitions to also, like, I feel like partly because it's definitely a thing that people do on Twitch, but also because it's probably not going to be bad for the old health. Adding things like a squat redeem or a push up or a sit up redeem or something like that. Other kind of visual redeems in the style of either the Fox News one or the other one, the Windows 98 redeem. I was just talking about that. How did I forget it? So we finished it. We completed the World Masters. That said, we have still not completed as much as we could. Pro National Internationals, for example, we left a lot of things undone. Oh, yeah, we've got 3 events at least undone. I think that's somewhat similar in here. Well, we've got 1, 2. So we're just gonna go through the previous campaigns, like all of these ones in here, and just try and, finish them off. That's the plan, at least. So let's start with the bus. And speaking of which, we don't have any beats. Let's get some beats going on. Some lo-fi beats to wreck to. So, Wolf, back to your rock climbing lesson that you ran. How were your parents? Were they good students? Oh, let's get rid of all that UI stuff. There we go. That's better. Were they good students? Were they hard to deal with? Because I feel like that would definitely be it could just definitely be challenging. Okay, it was just your dad. Well, how was your dad? Was he a good student? Was he receptive to your teaching methods? Okay, so it's hot school bus and school bus actions. They were all adults with responsibilities. Was he constantly talking about bills and stuff as he was climbing the wall? Okay, well. It's better than being a loud and insecure student, at least. Sling. Running into a lot of stuff. So what do you actually have to do? You had to teach them how to climb a rock wall? Is that what was happening? Good. For some reason that really froze up for it. Don't know why. I'm just very happy it was not me that had to climb the wall. I am still quite afraid of heights. Oh, that would be quite difficult, I imagine. Was teaching them how to belay harder than, or him, I guess, teaching him how to belay harder than teaching him how to climb? Okay, we've lost one wheel at the front, which is not ideal. You guys just hanging out? I take it that Dad maybe left a little bit to be desired in the old belaying department. Maybe could have done with a little bit of practice. I mean, I feel like the teacher has a duty of care, right? He can't let you die just because of your father's incompetence. Get contacted, idiot. So how high are these rock walls that you are climbing? Oh, that's probably not good. That went out. The engine is fine. Wow, okay, that's pretty tall. At least it sounds like it is. I imagine it's probably... Okay, well that was stupid. I'm gonna die. Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like it's pretty tall, but I imagine in the world of rock climbing, it probably isn't actually. This is the only guy left. My my engine could stop catching fire periodically, that would be fantastic. Excuse me. I think we just won. Just. I mean, look at that. We can drive that home for sure. Just ignore the fire. Ignore the fire. That's normal. No, these are all Unreal players. What upgrades can we give this car? Give it more power, baby. We could probably have a look at the online lobbies later on. Yeah, that's some pretty baller acceleration we got going on here. Some race cams in there. All right, I think we're doing pretty well. Gonna be zooming, chat. Yeah, we're approximately 40... We're at least 28 PI points, whatever they are, higher than anyone else. So we should be doing pretty well. We're just gotta be careful because it's gravel. I don't know if we'll be able to apply our speed juice to the road effectively. I think we'll leave that there. How long was it? 1.3. Let's shorten the gear ratios, probably to there, and we'll make it real soft like. All right, let's see what it does. Okay, we still got 4 wheels, that's a plus. I was worried we wouldn't. Oh wow, we're spinning out real quick, like. Okay, I've got 6 gears, very nice. You'd love to see that. We're gonna have to do some proper zooming to try and catch up with these falls and first and what have you. Okay, we lost a wheel. Let's try that again. Let's snooze the ads a little bit. Back in there. That's standard ratio. That was fine. Let's open that up a little bit. Otherwise, I think we're all right. Aha, it's a lot nicer when I don't get spun out. Come on, take the corner. There we go. We actually do have maybe a few too many beans in the engine. So it is very useful for overtaking falls like that. I feel like the more open diff definitely works for me, because I'm not like trying to, I guess, take the corner cleanly. I'm happy to just slide around it, and I feel like I can do that easier with an open diff. When you get more traction, obviously, with a completely closed diff, but you also, I feel like, really take a hit on the handling, and I'm not that big a fan of that. Lose that spoiler, idiot. I mean, it is if this was real life, this would be terrifyingly fast. Like going 160 along that straight, that's real fast. Just a little bit too fast for your old pal Zhao, I think. Where are you going, buddy? Never too quick? Well, that's a very wolf response. You'd probably take your Koenigsegg Jesko along here, right? Just throw it into the corners and hope for the best. That's an incredibly good question, actually. I think it's a little bit hard. It's probably a toss-up, actually, now that I think about it, between a car like the Ascari, AZ1, is that the name of the car? The model name? The brand is Ascari. And probably like the Aston Martin Valkyrie or Vulcan, the mid-engined supercar. Just because I really like to drive that quickly from point A to point B, and it's very easy to do that with that car too. Pistol up, baby! And what is yours, Wolf? Oh, we got a lot of races, huh? I might just quickly run an ad break then before the next one. So I've got an hour's worth of gameplay. The GTR. I thought for sure you were going to say the Yesco. No, there's a lot to like about the R35, absolutely. I think we're doing pretty well. I mean, look at that, 764 Newton meters of torque. That's wild. Hold on. There we are, 764 Newton meters of torque, that's a lot. Still showing ad done. Why is it doing that? I asked it to reset every time an ad played. I'll just show the last thing it had. Well, in that case, let's keep on trucking. Rough start. Yeah, it's going to be there for the next minute. I'd have to go through and change some commands. What it's meant to do is show a 3-minute countdown, and then when it's done, obviously, show ad done. But for some reason, it only shows ad done. Oh, you're on the wrong side of the fence, buddy boy. I might have to jump into Stream Elements or something and figure out what the go is. I am speed moment right there. Real Lightning McQueen vibes. You could say I'm the Lightning McQueen of Wreckfest. A plucky underdog? In the third story at least. He's real quick and suave. There we go. Might have to go in and do a little bit of surgery on that pop-up. Ooh. Okay, we damaged everything that wasn't damaged. Spoilers hanging on there on the boot lid for dear life. I'm frankly impressed that our bumper is still on. Just. Probably because it's been hit so hard, it's now one piece of metal with the actual chassis. Ooh, crashed out. No, I crashed. Oh, there goes my wheel. No, I still got a wheel. I've still got 4 wheels. I just have a damaged engine block. What is my dream car? A valid question. I think I've mentioned it before, but I've definitely gone off of like supercars for the most part. I think the R35 is definitely, if I had to pick up a supercar, like gun to my head, that'd definitely be one of my choices, just because, I mean, it's still a supercar, but it's also probably the most practical supercar in terms of being livable in like a day-to-day car. But my dream car would probably be something like either a Volkswagen Golf Mark 7.5R wagon, so the last generation of car, or probably like a Volvo V60 T8. Maybe. But the Volkswagen Golf R wagon is definitely goals in my mind. I feel like it's got more than enough power. Like all the power you'll reasonably need. Like you won't feel like you're missing out on much at all. It's a wagon, so it's got plenty of space. It's still relatively compact, so it's easy enough to get places. I mean, that could be pretty exciting. Being in the passenger, having him send it down the highway. I imagine it could also be really quite terrifying. It'd also be really quite humbling as well. I imagine you'd be like, well, I'm just never going to be as good a driver as this guy is. We did pretty well despite everyone's best efforts. I mean, look at that car. The engine is in our lap. And we still did it. There are a lot of events in this one. Oh, we got a crossover. That's going to be a spicy meatball. Okay, we got slightly more. We could probably afford to do that. We've got slightly more tarmac than normal. I didn't look at the distance, like how long the circuit is. So I don't know if our gear ratios should be longer or not. I guess we'll find out. Oh wow, we're in 6th gear. I don't think we've done that. Really. Oh, that guy's having a lot of fun. So am I. Reset. Just easier than reversing. Also, less dangerous. Ooh, get treed, son. Like, I feel driving on a sealed road, like on a highway at 182 k's an hour, is going to feel pretty quick. But I feel like driving at 182 k's on a dirt road is going to feel like you're traveling at Mach 5. It's going to feel so quick. Welcome on in, Shadow. How's the week treated you so far? Well, I hope. We're just going back through the previous campaigns and... What are you doing there, sir? And just making sure we've ticked them all off. Okay, that person is definitely dead. The car is on fire. Where'd you head off to? Shadow, anywhere exciting, or was it just a night shift? Yeah, rally drivers are brave Scandinavians. Yeah. Adult stuff. Speaking of which, I gotta remember to book in for the dentist for my time off. Because, that is one thing I haven't really had time to do. You're still here, you're at exactly the same spot. I guess they've lost like a back wheel or something, and now they can't put the power down to actually get up the hill. That's my supposition. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I haven't been sleeping well, so I'm a little bit eepy. Would like to sleep, but otherwise it's been all right. It's been pretty quiet at work, at least for me, which is a nice change. And basically, I'm just kind of counting down the days until next Friday, where my vacation starts. So as I was saying to Wolf earlier, this week will probably be a repeat of last week. Wreckfest, Horizon, and CMS. And then next week might be a single stream week where we'll only have a Wednesday stream. Ooh, lots of wreckage. Because I'll be out of town on the Friday and the Saturday. And I might only be back for the Friday of the week after. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, it's nice because it's winter as well. So it has been very much stay in bed weather. So it has made it really difficult to get out of bed in the morning. It's really only the kind of, well, I gotta go to work. That's getting me out of bed. Like this morning, I could have stayed in bed for hours. It was just lovely. You're still here, buddy. You can do it, I believe in you. Okay, good, we still got all four wheels. Yeah, right, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I don't have long until the break, and that's when I can stay in bed for as long as I like. Unless it's a day when I've got my psychologist. In which case, that's an 8 o'clock start. But I can then go to bed afterwards. So, it's not terrible. But we were talking before as well about what to do next. I'm tempted to have a look at Car for Sale Simulator, which is a car selling simulator. Oh, that was close. Which is a little bit kind of busted. I think it's by... It's either by the same person or very similar to Streamer Simulator or Internet Cafe Simulator. It looks like it is, at least. It's got that kind of really a little bit busted quality that YouTubers really like. No reset. Yeah, there's free roam in it, which is nice, and there's also gambling as well if we want. So I think that could be interesting. Because, I mean, there's also the things like there's the GTA 4 DLC, the Lost in the Damned, and the Ballad of Gay Tony to have a look at as I mentioned as well, there's like the Mad Max game. The thing is, I've got like conflicting priorities of like wanting to build an audience which kind of requires an element of predictability, i.e. you log on, Zhao's doing a car game, most likely. But I'm also conscious of the fact that I don't always want to play a car game. So it's trying to balance the two. I think so. I don't think they fixed it in any of the DLC or anything like that. Because it's all got the same world map. All the DLC really changes. I think in Lost in the Dam they add air hockey that you can play with members of the gang, which is kind of neat. And I don't know if they do anything. I've got the nightclub in Ballad of Gay Tony, where you're working out of. But I don't think there's any immense changes to the world, so I suspect the swings are still busted. But yeah, that's the thing. Trying to figure out how to keep variety, but also a kind of consistent brand, I guess, theme, you know? Which is also weird because I've kind of fallen into a car-themed niche, despite the fact that, if anything, my persona identity on Twitch is a little bit more military-themed. You know, Sergeant Zhao, Commander Zhao, the barracks, Dazzle Camouflage. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do not regret any of the games that I've played. I mean, some have been less successful in terms of like engagement or whatever than others. But I have not regretted. I don't think there's been a real stinker. Maybe Streaming Life Simulator. But I think that's partly because the game's pretty bad, more than anything. Cheesecake Dev is a little bit notorious for being somewhat lacking in the quality department. That's partly why they're such like meme games. I mean, and I completely forgot the previous discussion, but there's also the classics like the older Need for Speeds, Most Wanted, Carbon, Juiced 1 and 2, Need for Speed 2 and 3, actually. I forgot I own those two now. Idiot. Get rolled. I should have a look at FNAF, you're right. We were talking about spooky games earlier, and I've got things like Outlast, for example. I picked up the Resident Evil Humble Bundle today. But FNAF would make sense. That is another kind of staple of the YouTube ecosystem as well. Because Wolf mentioned that Amnesia, The Dark Descent, I think, is on Game Pass, so that's another game that would be interesting, because it is that kind of iconic content creator game to play. But I mean, FNAF is probably more iconic at this point. And I've never played them as well. So I probably should. And I think they're on Game Pass. I feel like I saw them on there at one point at least. Nope. Ooh, almost landed the barrel. And now I'm second. Bollocks. Okay, that's the guy in first. Get him, Dewey. Get Huey and Louie with you as well to help out. Wow, a lot of people hit that corner there, huh? Good job, Dewey. Like a Wreckfest racing series where you are in real life doing these kind of things, or a more realistic racing series in the game? I could see this being a real series in real life, particularly with like remote control cars, like these style cars, real like life-size bangers, but with like an RC motor inside them. Maybe put a mannequin in the driver's seat. Because let's be honest, if I was really in there, or any of us were really in these cars, someone would be dying at least once a race. Oh, like me. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those, those smashing rooms or whatever. Breaking rooms, destruction rooms or whatever, where someone will go in there and just smash some stuff. It's kind of like the vehicular version of that. I don't think I've actually driven this circuit before. Oh no, I do recognize this now. That's the tree that everyone runs into for some reason. If you look at the mini-map, almost everyone has run into that. Literally. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ooh! It's that shadow we've heard so much about. It just lurks beneath the surface. Okay, the brakes maybe need a little bit of work. Some carbon ceramics wouldn't go astray. Hey, rival. Who are you? You're in second place. Are you in last? I think I'm not the kind that holds grudges. I'm trying to think. I won't hold grudges against people, I don't think. I think I'm much more likely to hold a grudge against like a corporation. We were so lucky to dodge that. No, we weren't. We still hit the tree. Let's take it from the top. We got around those rocks. That was the part that got us last time. Oh no. I think I am quite forgiving. I think there's also a point where it's like, no. And I think that change can come quite quickly. Because I definitely have quite a loyal streak. Like there's a Mexican guy, Atzi, you may have seen him lurk in the channel every now and then, who I basically got to know because I liked one of his, well, he liked one of my photos on Twitter. on my, well, I think this was before I started streaming. On my normie account, one of my like photography photos. And then I was like, I'm gonna follow this man and make sure he gets likes on his stuff on Twitter. Just because he liked one of my photos when really no one else did. So it's like, okay, you are now my friend, whether you know it or not. And like, it happened again. I noticed it happened again recently. Rinsomniac, the Twitch streamer, came in, he raided into here. And I'm like, well, now I've discovered I've got a new friend. And I don't know if he knows it yet or not, but I will do my best to support him. I feel like I've got a very, I don't know, low threshold for my loyalty trap card to be activated. Tree that kills them all. Look, that guy just ran into it again on the minimap. I swear to God, they've got like a... I mean, they're in Wreckfest, so they probably do have a death wish. But on this map, even more so than usual. I think it probably takes me time to trust people. But... Oh, bollocks. Eyes on the road, chow. Okay, we might be buggered. Yeah, we are a little bit. No, we are pulling slightly to the right for some reason. I can't really put my finger on why that is the case. It's probably global warming or something. Okay, this is going to be ridiculous. Let's try this again. I think I'm definitely I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm also doing a lot of this introspection on the fly. I'd like to think at least that I will probably give people enough rope to hang themselves, not instantly assume that they're, excuse me, a villain, or take an instant dislike to someone. But I'm not sure. I think one thing I do try and follow is, what is it? Don't attribute to malice what can easily be attributed to ignorance. And that, you know, for a lot of things, it's maybe the guy is being an idiot, and they're not actually being malicious. That's not always the case, obviously, but I think sometimes it is. And I think it more often than not is, particularly for things like, you know, if a furry hater kicks in the door of the stream or whatever, I don't know if I'd ban them straight out. I think I'd try and, you know, engage them, talk with them a little bit. But if they're, I mean, obviously if they're just being belligerent idiots, then yeah, you're gonna get a block. Oh, a ban, sorry. I think with Twitter for some reason. But I think I'd probably give them enough rope to hang themselves. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, chat. It's going to sound incredibly bachelor and unhealthy as a result, but I have been not sleeping very well, as I said, and this morning, and I think the day before. No, just this morning, but I have done it last week as well. I was feeling tired, so I poured myself a glass of Mountain Dew, in the morning to kind of get the motor running a little bit better. Get that caffeine hit. Oh! I had a feeling that was a bit ambitious. Okay, we've still got 4 wheels. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, I think I'm definitely the same. In fact, I don't think I know I'm definitely the same. Like, I could not do this in person. It has helped me do other things in person. I believe I've mentioned before that I co-lead a Bible study with someone, and there's like, including ourselves, there's 16 people in that. And you know, leading a Bible study isn't like a lecture or whatever where you stand at the front. But even so, it's definitely not something I could have done without having done this for 6 months prior. This has definitely been very useful for kind of forcing me to kind of foster a certain level of extroversion. But I wouldn't have been able to do that with my face in the bottom left corner. That's the whole reason why Commander Zhao exists and is not just an account name anymore. Because I don't know if I'm pretty sure I've told you, but like, bonus Commander Zhao lore, Zhao was a name before he was a fox. He only became a fox because I needed him to, and because I discovered when I was using the website Hero Forge that I was making a lot of foxes. And that's partly because I think if you had asked me what my persona would be 2 years ago, I think I would probably have said a cat, because I've always quite enjoyed the cats that our family have had. But on Hero Forge, which is for those who don't know, it's an online website where you can make little figurines basically for D&D or whatever. But you can also make sci-fi ones, as you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen. And they don't necessarily have to be for D&D. Like, I have probably tens of figurines that look like Zhao over there. And that's how I discovered that I like the fox, because in Hero Forge, the cat's face is that more kind of Persian cat face with the pressed nose, whereas I prefer a cat with an actual nose, kind of like an American truck as opposed to the European truck, which is the Persian cat's face. That's the thing as well, because I have been thinking about something along those lines, because another VTuber I watch called Scribbly Noodle, or Z, recently he kind of did a bit of a lore dump on his stream about how he had, I guess, canonized some of the lore in his head or whatever. And I realized I don't actually have lore for Zhao himself. I do have lore for the world in which Zhao inhabits, but not necessarily for Zhao. And oh, that was hard. Ah, bollocks. And because we've got an open diff, I reckon we'd give it a shot, because there's going to be so many people killing themselves in this here that we might just make it. Because I've spent a lot of my, I guess, time daydreaming and like imagining stories in my head, and for the most part the characters kind of just exist to be vehicles to ask or navigate questions that I have. Like part of, if I remember correctly, part of the reason why I started doing these kind of cyborg things in Hero Forge was to kind of make characters to explore the idea of voluntary limb removal, almost. Like, how does one navigate that? There's a question I've often had in my mind, both from like a Christian standpoint, but also from just like a secular world standpoint. Is there a line where a person stops being a human? Like, when does he, kind of like a ship of Theseus kind of thing. Like, I don't think anyone would ever say that a veteran who's lost their legs in Afghanistan has stopped being a human. But at what point in like a journey to becoming a robot does the human stop being a human? I guess it's kind of a Ghost in the Shell question as well. I don't know how that guy survived that. Still second place. We're the only two races. I just noticed that. Come on, Zhao, we can do it. Get across that line. And even then, like the stories that I've been thinking about, Zhao isn't the main character. Zhao is just a character in it. I think that's partly because Zhao kind of came after the stories existed, because I needed, the stream needs required it. Because I've often, well, not often, I've thought several times of trying to finalize, because the nation state that Zhao occupies is part of a confederation of nation states. So I've often thought of trying to mock up both of those flags, for example, or things like that. So to answer your question, yes, I probably should think about doing that. Okay, I guess we're going this way a little bit. I do find that I get carried away with, like, well, I guess almost like, I don't know how to put this politely, but like ADHD or autistically obsessed with certain facets of my stories or worlds. Because I like to try and have it make rational sense. It's partly why, if you ever see a full body of Zhao, he's got plantigrade feet and not digigrade feet. Because in my head, it makes more sense for a bipedal species to have plantigrade feet if you're going to be standing on your feet. A larger platform would make sense to me. That's also part of the reason why I went, even for Zhao, why I went for robot arms and legs. Because I'm not a particularly big fan of beans. I know that's probably heresy in the furry community to say, but I'm not. And an easy way to get around it is by simply not having the limbs that would have beans on them and having a robot version instead. Obviously you can have robo beans, but I feel like it's more acceptable to be like, oh yeah, he just doesn't have them because he's got robot arms and robot legs. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not expecting to get crucified or anything like that. But it is definitely, I feel like there's a lot of people in the fandom or the community, whatever you want to call it, that are very big on feet, basically. Let's call it what it is. And or hands. You know, the whole, what is it, paws or maws? So there's definitely been a lot of tactical decision making, if you will, when it comes to Zhao's get up and look. Which is also something that's kind of shot myself in the foot. Like, it would be easier, is to kind of part the curtain a little bit. I have commissioned, as I think I may have mentioned, a custom VR chat / VTuber. Well, a customization of the relatively famous Julia Winterpaw canine that I feel like almost every second furry has around the place, to add on robot arms and robot plantigrade legs. Now, if I had been a more forward-thinking individual, it probably would have been sensible to just go, let's just have digigrade legs. That would have made things a little bit easier. But no, Zhao had to be different, had to be unique. I've also, like, I mean, there's been a whole mess of things while we've got the curtain parted. Like, I remember a friend of the channel, 11, earlier on in my streaming career, was like, Zhao sounds Oriental. Is it racist? Is it like a slur or something? So in like a little bit of a sweat and a panic, I quickly opened up the internet. I was like, oh, I don't know. Let's search Zhao. And it turns out it's just nonsense. At least in that spelling. The sound might be, I don't know, a curse word in traditional Burmese or something. But the spelling is just gibberish. My dyslexia came in clutch. It means that I am in the clear. And also it's pretty unique. But there's also been, like, I've definitely had some confusing thoughts about Zhao's coloration. Because he is predominantly of a darker kind of fur and or by extension darker complexion, and I am the opposite. I'm not Irish, but I'm closer to Irish than I am to like sub-Saharan Africa in my complexion. So there was a period of time as well where I'm like, the name mightn't be racist, but is the coloration perhaps in poor taste at least? And I definitely had to think about it and even speak to a couple of, like one person in the fandom to be like, any thoughts on this one? And she did kind of assuage my fears a little bit. And to an extent, it is like a naturally occurring fur color. There are melanistic, or apparently they're also called cross foxes, apparently, that exist. So it's not like I'm making up a racist stereotype, I guess. And it's also not like there are many blue people out there to be all the blue dogs. So that's also reassuring. It is a little bit kind of, I guess, separated from the real world. Baby knowledge. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's cross this finish line and find out what Babynology has to say about the name Zhao. Hopefully it's only good things. Okay, where'd the monitor go? I pressed the link and it killed the monitor. Okay, it's a masculine, it's a Thai name. I did notice there were, out of the results, there were more Thai results than anything else. Okay, here we go. Hold on. There's some important implicit Zhao lore in here that we're going to be learning about, chat. All right. So we've got similar names that I would say are not super similar. We've got Zhaoan. Hold on, let's jump over here. Let's pause the music and let's see how they pronounce it. Didn't hear any. Oh, and say that again, sorry.
Zhao.
Takes a little bit to load up, that one, doesn't it? How do they pronounce Zhaoan? Is it just Zhaoan?
Zhaoan.
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 Okay. So people with the name Zhao will have leadership qualities. Makes sense given the title I have. They act in a manner that they receive accolade. They are domineering and pushy. Well, that is entirely incorrect. They have inordinate self-esteem. That is so incorrect, it is laughable. Person with Zhao having 1 as personality number are independent and are not afraid of exploring new avenues. They may be self-centered and arrogant. I'd like to say that's not correct, but you never know. They are restless and create new things. Yeah, a little bit. They are physically strong. Well, maybe. Okay. Character analysis. Persons named Zhao like to be in charge, as we said, whether they be up front or from behind the scenes. Well, I do like to be behind the scenes. Maybe not in charge, though. To control and will generally be quite sure of themselves. Again, that is laughably incorrect. They can be very talented actors in life. What does that mean? Why is this? Sorry, why is this behind my head? Why is it actors like that? Do they mean VTubers, perhaps? In which case, thank you. And can put a persona they wish others to see and believe. I think they're saying that we can be good VTubers. Love life. Okay, persons like that their partner should inspire not only sexually, but also at the level of intellect. Persons love to proceed intercourse with dinners in candlelight. So hold on. Did we just go to baby nameology and get dating advice if someone wanted to take me out? Interesting. Letter analysis. Now we're getting... This is like, obviously, this is all just hard science. Persons... So with the J, persons make an exemplary friend and try very hard to make sure everyone's happy and comfortable. I like to think so. Persons are their own person, ambitious and free-thinking. Free-thinking, maybe not ambitious, probably not enough. Persons know where the moral high ground is and always try and take it. I think so. I'm entirely certain what they're saying in that one. I don't know how you can be associated with Capricorn as a name. I thought that was excuse me. I thought that was more of a date thing. I don't even know where to start with that one, sorry. Zhao Song the first, or Zhao Song Ai? The Chinese scholar, poet, and calligrapher and painter, a versatile scholar. This fool was a regular Renaissance man, huh? A versatile scholar, he contributes to every field of humanities, including archaeology, literature, philology? You mean philosophy? And history. Currently lives in Hong Kong with 2 daughters. Congrats. Please suggest meaning of name Zhao in other country. History and... What does name Zhao mean? Name Zhao mean good VTuber. Okay, well, thank you, Shadow, for the Zhao name facts. That is... I'm gonna throw that in the old Discord. That's gonna be the basis of a lot of the Zhao lore, for sure. As we can see here in this article. See, it's independently sourced. That Zhao likes candle night dinners. We're probably going to have to take a little bit of a detour away from the Thai heritage, though, if I'm honest. Just so it's not as awkward. But thank you very much for doing that research, Shadow. That is interesting. I don't know how I missed that. I think it's because I was principally looking for making sure it wasn't a slur. Making sure it wasn't like the N-word in Cantonese or something. What's up, fellas? Come on, turn, you bastard. Oof. We did this course, but the other direction, didn't we? At the very least, we did this approximately in the other direction. Ooh, that was close to that wall. Oh, it's this one. The diabolical crossover. Skill issue. Oh dear. Oh, my own skill issue. Thinking about it, I think I would have preferred this race a lot more if we were all driving limousines. You said earlier, Shadow, that you had at one point gone through and like made a canonical lore for Shadow. Was that something that you just like? What inspired you to finally, I guess, pull it all together, make it canon, as it were? Ooh, going the other way, you cheeky bastard. Because I feel like there's a lot of people that can definitely like move through life without having to kind of have a lore behind their persona, but I guess there's also like there's almost a lot of like real life lore wrapped up in a persona as well. Maybe it's part of that process. Yeah, you're stuck. Put it into gear. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Because that is... Like, I've been thinking about how Zhao was a gamer tag before he was a 3D model or anything else. And then MSF motors came out of it. Like, the funny thing is, there's a lot of attributes that I've kind of given to another character in the story in my head, the world in my head. This guy is in a similar position as Zhao, you know, cyborg special forces, but in his part-time, he's... I don't know how to describe it. He's kind of doing a modern version of an old post-war muscle car that uses a half of a 14-cylinder rotary engine from a fighter jet. Ooh, that would have hurt so much. So I almost feel like I need to axe that person and bring them back into the fold. I think it's partly because I'm not very good at writing or like imagining things in the first person. I feel like I'm a lot better imagining things in like the third person, where I'm not intimately involved in them. I'm not sure if that's like a, I don't know, commitment issue or something, or what. I think the thing is I'm a lot more interested in like the larger scope of things. Like the political drama behind, like, for example, I'd find it fascinating if like a lot of it, okay, hold on, let me try and order my thoughts. In a lot of FPSs, for example, they will always make the point of kind of, at least in the advertising, saying that we're focusing on the individual stories of the soldiers involved or whatever. And that's neat, that's cool, there's no denying that. But I must confess that I would probably prefer it a lot more if we were focusing on the political environment in which these are occurring. Like, why is it that I am currently in the Middle East shooting these people? Why is it that Russia has decided to have a second revolution in the Call of Duty franchise so far? I'd find it much more interesting if there was a more convincing in-story rationale for why it is that I am shooting these people. And I take that over to my own kind of Imagineering as well, where I'm less focused on the individual characters and more kind of on the broad strokes. But it's something I need to work on. I hope the audio hasn't been terrible. I've realized I've had my speakers on the entire time. We're just going to have a real quick... Let me just turn that off. But we're going to have a real quick ad break. I didn't do that correctly, did I? You fool. Yeah, I need to get around to doing that kind of stuff too. I mean, I need to get around to making a damn ref sheet, if I'm honest. Okay, so why... You're meant to reset each time you're turned on. Do you reset each time you're turned on? Yeah. Like, I can see you counting down here when I've selected you. Why does it not work over here? Like, if I turn you on now, you're counting down. But why weren't you counting down before? Why are you counting down now? Is it because I've changed to the global alerts scene? No, because you're still counting down. What triggers you? It's annoying. We'll just turn that off so it doesn't trigger. That is one for the old to-do list, chat. What we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly run the ad break because it's at that time of night again. Go to the bathroom and then we'll come back and I'll finish off this championship and keep on trucking. So I'll speak to you in about 3 minutes or so. Let's load into the next event. And we'll wait for the ads to finish. And we'll start brooming. Look at this guy looking at the camera. Stop breaking the fourth wall. All of you, actually. That's right, we've got half traction control on. I forgot about that. Why can't I change any of this, huh? Oh, I can now. Weird. It is a real shame that this car is in this style of racing, right? Because it is a pretty nice car. Like, it's got a 6-speed gearbox, 550 horsepower, 765 newton meters of torque. You can make a really good, like, collector's piece. It's in pretty remarkably good condition. And yet here we are, driving it to destruction. Pokemon back in ad havers. It's your boy, Zhao, back at it again. What am I at again? You know, racing. Zooming. The nerve of some people. Oh, avoid that fence. That one's a hard one. We're in 9th place, behind L_A_G. Like, I definitely wouldn't daily drive this, but I would 100% own it. It's a cool car. It certainly was before I banged in the side. The real car in this game that I legitimately want to buy is the wagon. There's a wagon car that's kind of like a National Lampoon's Vacation wagon. Absolutely, this car would be fantastic for car shows. This is the car that car shows are made for. If you had it like in good condition. Which it was before the start of the race. That was a pretty nice drift. Until I ran into the wall because I was admiring the drift. You got any big plans for the weekend, Shadow, and rest of chat? Anything exciting coming up? I mean, outside of the Car Mechanic Simulator stream, obviously. Yeah, the war wagon one. Yeah, that one. Just because I love a good wagon, you know? What's not to like about a good wagon? I can win the Demolition Derby and then I can go pick up some chest of drawers off of Gumtree. The perfect car. All while being pretty safe because it's a Volvo. Go on the outside of that fool. We might have enough money actually. Okay. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. What cars do we have? Okay, we've got a few more cars now to play with. I'm going to take out the Venom, I think. That looks like it's going to be the most fun. A kind of Corvette knockoff. Or we could do the Speed Demon. It does have more handling. And a much better top speed. They've both got... No, this one's got 4 gears. Let's go the 6 gears. Let's go 6 speed. You know what kind of engine you're modding? Or is it a bit of a surprise? And more to the point, do you know what the mod is? No, it'll be nice. I feel like doing something together is absolutely such a choice way to hang out. Let's open that up a little bit. Now 240 SX. Gee, there's a lot of VTEC in this car. We're really zooming. Damn. That's quite the undertaking. That'll be a very cool car afterwards, though. There's no denying that. Well, do you reckon it's a Supra? I was going to say it's more of a 240, like a Nissan, an SX of some sort. Just from the back of it, it's got giving me real kind of Underground 2 vibes. But are you thinking it's the generation before the all-famous Supra? Okay. Maybe not VTEC, that's probably not the right word for it, but it is definitely a lot more... It feels a lot more urgent, I guess, than the previous car we were driving in. Like, the acceleration in the previous car was definitely there, it was like surging. This one just feels a lot more, like, desperate. I gotta get to a speed. I mean, it's probably also the engine note, right? Because it's probably a 4-cylinder rather than... Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked, I can see. But if there was a double-decker variant in multiplayer where one person had the throttle and the other person had the steering, I think that could be absolutely hilarious. I mean, I know they don't need them, but I don't see why they take out the brake lights when they don't take out the rear windshield. Because you're not going to need the brake lights, but you're sure as hell not going to need the rear windshield either. Oh yeah, it's going to end in disaster. But, I mean, the hope is it's going to be at least a funny kind of disaster along the way. Like those, you know, co-op moving or cooking games or whatever. Yeah, that would work. I think there is some cars, now that you mention it, that do have a tail light or two on the roof, just above the rear windshield. I've just always found it weird that they keep most of the glass in unless you opt to take it out. I mean, it's not just like a weight thing, but surely it's a safety thing. You don't want to have all these additional glass shards either going on the driver in the cockpit or, perhaps worse, going on the tarmac. I mean, I know there's already going to be, at least in the world of Wreckfest, there's already going to be like pieces of car and chassis and suspension and basically, let's be honest, parts of the engine block just strewn across the track. But I feel like, you know, trying to avoid adding glass to that mix is probably a pretty noble endeavor. You reckon? I actually think it adds to it a little bit. Maybe it's because, I don't know. I feel like that's the kind of almost classic Mini Cooper rally look, you know? That was some proper Formula Drift stuff down there, if I'm being humble and honest with myself. Excuse me, yawning. I mean, I guess it's that kind of... It's a cheap way to look like you mean business, right? You just need to go down to the local shop, pick up some gaffer tape, and you're done. You've got your crosses on the headlights, and you look the business. It's cheaper than even having to do anything else, really. Get to paint it red or anything like that. But I think I get what you're saying, though. It's definitely... I feel like it's definitely a thing where it's like... If you actually need to do it, I think it would look quite cool. But as soon as you're doing it on something that doesn't need it, you look just... It's like such a tryhard. I think it's definitely a thing in the real world a lot more than things like Need for Speed or whatever. There needs to be, like, in the world of Need for Speed, particularly Need for Speed Underground 2, where there's that very much component of what you look like and stuff like that. There needs to be this almost counter argument of whether you look like a tool or not by putting on that super huge spoiler on the back of your 306 GTI or whatever. Well, it's like all those people saying, you know, with like the Nürburgring sticker in their windows. Which I feel is particularly weird when you're in Australia. Because I feel like at least if you're in Europe, you can put it on the back of your car because you maybe took your car there and went around it in it. But there's no chance in hell, unless you're like a billionaire, that you've done that with your car in Australia. Yeah, definitely towards the end, a lot of it, particularly on my recent playthrough, was just kind of like, I don't like how it looks, but we just got to get those star values up. I'm not a huge fan of the scissor hood or, you know, that particular spoiler, but it's just better. Which might be why they can't... I mean, obviously car culture has definitely changed. Even by the time, like, Need for Speed Carbon comes out. Which was probably the next one where they focused a lot on customization. But... yeah, it's clear that it's just not a thing. Like, it was not a mechanic that they maintained even in Underground... Need for Speed Most Wanted. Like, you could definitely imagine a world where Need for Speed Most Wanted had a similar mechanic, where you had to also make your car, in air quotes, look good, as well as go fast. The current Civic, like the current Civic Type R, yes, I will agree with you on that. The previous Civic Type R, no. The last generation of Civic Type R was far too busy, in my opinion. Too many, like, fake events everywhere and stuff. Oh, bollocks. There's no rewind. That just changes the camera view. quick bastard. I mean, they need to add MPVs to this game, to be honest. But yes. Yeah, it's definitely a conversation that's not new to this channel. More regular cars in, like, Horizon and stuff. Yeah, like, I'm definitely most excited about the new Fiat 500 and the Alfa Romeo Giulias that have been added into Horizon, because those are, I mean, less so in the case of the Giulia, but they are relatively normal cars. They're not just like the latest Lamborghini racing model. Which is what the, I mean, it's, you know, the name's on the tin, I guess, but it's what the new Italian exotics expansion is all about. Yeah, Hurricanes in particular, there are so many of them. They definitely have a feeling of it's like, of like being the easy way to bulk up the car list numbers. Get Shrek. I mean, that is definitely one of the variants that I would not say no to. That rally one does look very cool. But it is, a lot of it is just like a repeat of the same one from before. Like there's very little obvious difference between a majority of the Huracan variants. Yeah, just body kit differences, and frankly I think that the race ones just look worse. Oh, this is a racetrack that I picked up that American car we were driving previously in the stream. And what I did is I just, on the first lap, it was a race where it was just against one person. It was me and this guy who was driving that car. And he had like 30 PI points on me. So what I did on the first lap is I just pile drove him into that corner and knocked him out immediately. Fantastic. I didn't actually have a look at the rivals, so I do not know which one you're talking about. I'll have to have a look on Friday. I was pretty proud of myself on last Friday. I got 40 points. That's the first time I've done it in like ever. Oh, you got to try out the new car pack stuff, did you? That's kind of cool. Do we want to... No, I think we probably want to open it up a little bit. I normally, as you know, I'm just like 20 points, we're done. That's fine. But because they are putting like the Delta 4 and S4... No, Delta 4? Delta 4. Behind like the 40-point barrier, I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to have to get 40 points now. What happened, Shadow? This is a safe space. like me currently. Like I've never played a Wreckfest game before. I recently reinstalled, I haven't really touched it properly, but I recently reinstalled Horizon 3. And I guess reinstalled is probably incorrect. Like I've played it before, obviously, but never on the computer. So I installed it for the first time. And I forgot how different the UI was back in the day. Because Horizon 4 and Horizon 5's UI is really quite similar. But Horizon 3 was so different. The car menu is just objectively worse. But I forgot Horizon 3 had Rolls-Royce in it. I completely forgot about that. Oof. Yeah, that was definitely... I think that wasn't a bad idea. And I think they could have done that relatively easily in 5 as well. Where you've got those kind of stories. But you kind of do something similar to... Like in 3, it's not too dissimilar to 4, where you're building at the festival at your kind of discretion. Whether you want to go to the desert or to the Sunshine Coast or whatever next. That sounds like a well-driving car, that flapping. Yeah, it's probably fine. Just ignore it. Turn up the radio. It'll be fine. Because I've had to pull over briefly and put on a space saver tire. Oop, 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 oop. That's probably not going to help the wheel noise, huh? Log? That's a rough name. Your parents did not love you, Rob. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm sure you had your suspicions. Oh, our guy's looking a lot narrower than they used to. I don't think so. I mean, at least according to the stats behind me there, the engine is A-OK. It's just handling stuff that's busted. But in terms of getting the power to the back wheels, we are set. Gearbox, thumbs up. Engine, thumbs up. Just as long as you don't want to stop or take a corner, this is the car for you. Look at that speed! Yeah, it's periodic ventilation. Like on a Murcielago, how the vents open at the back. This car also kind of has a flap to kind of keep the driver cool. Also, that's the other thing. Just back to my rear window rant, thinking about ventilation now. The fact that I don't have a front windshield, just by default, it's mesh. Surely that would make it even more of a bad decision to have a rear windshield. Because then I'm just catching air. And I mean, if I go fast enough, the rear windshield as a unit would just kind of get blown out the back, I imagine. Yeah, it's like a rocket, you know? as the engines are no longer needed and the stages are no longer needed, they're detached and separate, you know, thrown away. So too, I don't need the front bumper bar anymore, so I got rid of it. Or the front fender. On the left side at least. I mean, the plastic would be sensible, but I still think it would be like a huge parachute almost, having that there to catch the wind. Yeah, I know, right? It's a conspiracy by Big Dead Car to make you one of them. Oh, that's not going to help. Our guy's looking particularly slanted there. Yeah, what is this, a Wreckfest or something? I reckon I've still got the air conditioning compressor in here. I reckon I could put on the AC. I'm assuming that the air conditioner compressor is counted in the engine status light, so we're still doing pretty well. The air conditioner compressor must be on the right-hand side of the vehicle, not the left-hand side. No, the engine's damaged. Oh, more importantly, I lost the wheel. It's the last lap. Let's see what we can do. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it, man. It was a poor decision to go for totally open diff, which I think is what I did. Can't imagine why my car is making so many noises. Some basically factory new. Seventh place. Not ideal. Shaking my head there, not a fan. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that would be taken behind the sheds and shot afterwards. Absolutely. We've got a race engine, we've got a race carb, we've got a race fan, race intake, race carb, race spark, race exhaust, race headers. Okay, so we're all raced up. Just checking. We're basically the best we can be. Let's try the other one though. Let's try the Venom out. Or we could try the Boomer. Another Euro. Let's try the Boomer out. We can probably upgrade you a little bit, right? Oh, maybe not. Oh, we can get a better carb. Better valves. Better cam. And better pistons. Let's see what the Boomer RS has for us. If it's like the baby boomers, it should at least own a lot of property. Let's go for a limited diff. I think that's probably better. Maybe slightly more. No, that would... Yeah. I've got to think about my viewers, Shadow, and their mental well-being. Speaking of which, we've still got that G63 to have a look at CMS on Saturday. If you're around and not busy being your own car mechanic. It is a good looking Corvette generation, that one. I think I legitimately first encountered that generation of Corvette in the film Cars. Now that I think about it. With the old Legend being represented by that kind of generation of Corvette, I think. Or at least very similar to it. It's been a long time since I've seen that film, actually. This is a really high revving engine. Well, you're a lot smaller than some of the other cars on the road. It was in dub edition. That's kind of cool. It would have been pretty cool to see that kind of pimped out. I should see if I can try and acquire dub edition on like the PC. Nice. I mean, at that generation of Corvette, you gotta have the side pipes. You're just not doing it right if you don't have side pipes. If you're worried about burning your legs, just wear like riding boots, like for a horse or something, I don't know. Have some leather between you and this exhaust. I think it's probably for the same reason that they added them in Underground 2. Probably for like the pimping part of it. Because a lot of people, I don't know, in theory own them and just pimp them. But I think probably when I was first playing it, or maybe not first playing it, but when I was playing it in high school, I remember maybe it was just in custom race or whatever, I tried to drive one of them, and it was just so damn slow. Actually, no, I did it at one time in the Twitch playthrough. It was surprisingly quick, but it was just really heavy and just was terrible in corners. I think that was the Lincoln Navigator specifically. I forgot they had bikes in dub edition as well. Oh, I also saw that it's a while away, but I figured out what I'm streaming if I'm around actually. On the 14th or the 17th of September, the Crew Motorfest has its playtest around that time, or open beta. So I might have a look at that. I'm not super jazzed about the Crew Motorfest, because I've heard it's still got a pretty arcadey physics system. It does look really good graphically, and I'm interested to see what they do in terms of Hawaii. If it's going to be like Test Drive Unlimiteds, where it's a pretty one-to-one recreation, or what. I'm definitely not surprised that it's a better looking game than the Horizon 5. Just because it's a newer game. Like, it's probably been 3 years since Horizon 5 was, you know, having its rain physics worked on and stuff, like rain effects worked on it and stuff like that. No, I mean, I feel like all car games at this point are pretty good looking. Like, even this one. This one is definitely not one that would be sold for, like, graphical fidelity. It is still a good looking car game. Damn it. I was hoping I could get cheeky. I was too cheeky for my own good. Okay, that was definitely not the car's fault. That was my fault by 100 times over. But we still got on the podium. We're still there. We're not shaking our head next to our crew chief. Give us Forza with Wreckfest damage model with Need for Speed Unbound's customization in terms of every car has a wide body kit. That kind of stuff. I'll stick with the Forza engine modification for now at least. Forza Horizon engine modification, I should specify, because as we know, Motorsport is at least talking about doing it differently. I need to have a look at Midnight Club 3. I need to see if it's on PC or try and acquire like a modded Xbox or something with it installed on it or something. I do want to, I mean, thinking about this, I do also want to have a look at Juice, the Juiced games that I've acquired, because they do talk a big game about their customization stuff and that as well. So I'll be interested to see what that's like. Thinking about it, I don't even know if it's an open world game, Juiced 1 or 2. Or if it's like Underground 1, where it's just a selection of races that you do. Ow. Trying to think if there's like, so we want the customization for Midnight Club 3 / Unbound. We want the damage model from Wreckfest. I think we can safely say they've got the kind of driving physics down pat. I don't know if there's any game that we particularly want to steal like the environment from. Except for maybe Horizon 4. I don't think there's any other game that seems to, like, I wasn't particularly jazzed about Unbound's world. I mean, yeah, Carbon Auto Sculpt would be really choice. It is disappointing that feature didn't really go anywhere. I understand it would be a lot of work for the developers, having to parametrically design. That's probably not great, huh? Oh my goodness, look at my character. Kill me. Okay. Just death. That it was calling for death. Just kill me. Actually, one thing I would like to see is the kind of out-of-car experience of the Crew 2. So you could walk around your car at like festival sites or what have you. I would like that. And actually the loading experience of the Crew 2 would be nice as well. It was very clever how you would drive into a garage and then kind of take a slightly roundabout route, like a left turn and then a right turn, and then you'd exit into the racing grid. Like there was no loading screen or anything. That was very clever. I appreciate that might be hard to pull off, but it was very cool. Not even like hard to pull off mechanically, but like hard to pull off in the sense of making you able to pull off those somewhat labyrinthine things all across the map for the different events. Yeah, it'd be cool to be able to like kind of Forza Vista around everyone's cars in a convoy if you parked up at the garage or the festival site. Like, do you remember I completely forgot about it until just now. You remember in Horizon 2, and I think in Horizon 1 as well, how there were different car meets where you could go and just kind of check out other people's cars, and then I think you could go and jump in like an online lobby or something. I never did it myself, but I think you could do that. Like, it'd be cool to be able to do that and then actually walk around the cars and stuff. And I think you could add it quite easily by kind of enabling it in the different player houses around the place. Yeah. Make it easier to kind of find a friend's tune, as it were. I mean, if we really wanted to make the ultimate racing game taking parts from other games, it'd be nice if you could, like, let's steal a bit from Car Mechanic Simulator. If you could physically build your engine out of the different, you know, road, sport, or race parts. Sure, it would probably be more onerous than otherwise, but it would be cool to kind of put it together. Put that together a W16 engine with the race cams in place. It would like increase the development load by like tenfold, but it'll be very cool. But I think it would be useful if you could do something more with the avatars. Right? I mean, I think the avatar system actually works quite well in Horizon. Like, it's pretty well realized. You've got quite a lot of customization. You can really make them your own. It's just a bit of a shame that you can't kind of interact with each other's avatars, be that in a home or somewhere else. Like, it'd be a little bit cool if it was kind of like GTA 5 where you could all hang out in someone's living room or whatever while you were waiting for that last friend to turn up. It is kind of crazy they haven't even... I mean, they'd have to add in like paintable clothes, but even if they just added in like a dog head, cat head, and you know, a couple of other generic animal heads, I reckon you'd get a lot of people going pretty crazy over them. Yeah, I mean, even in back to the GTA 5 that I mentioned before, they've got like animal masks, like you can wear an owl mask or a gorilla mask or a wolf mask, and it's obviously not like a full suit or whatever, but it can at least get you part of the way there. Obviously I've got an advantage because I'm already part of the way there because I've got the robot arms in game. What did you say about furries? That was another game I was looking at while I was thinking about what to play. I remembered I've got Saints Row 3 on Epic Games Store, and Saints Row 2 now that I think about it on GOG, and I haven't played either of them. I've played Saints Row 4 and Get Out of Hell. I think I finished Get Out of Hell. It was alright. I even played, what was the other one? Like Agents of Chaos or whatever? That kind of spin-off title. It's pretty interesting. It helped that I had the flu that week, so maybe that was partly clouding my decision making. I mean, I have heard that like Saints Row 3 is definitely like the peak. Saints Row 4 maybe took it a little bit too far in terms of zaniness and doing those kind of fanciful things, you know, the superpowers and what have you. Yeah, that is perhaps a little bit too kind of E621. Excuse me. And we're in first. Dimples. Where are we going? Ooh, this way. I feel like the minimap is a lot harder to read than it should be. I forgot about Professor Genki. I've also heard that unfortunately the new Saints Row is really quite trash. I say unfortunately because apparently the world is quite interesting, like the environment you inhabit. But the actual game is pretty average. I remembered it only recently because it's coming. I saw it's in the coming to Steam soon section of the Steam store. Also, it just wasn't well made from what I've heard either. Like, it was just badly optimized. It does make me wonder if it would have done better under a different title. Like, how much of the, outside of the bugs obviously, how much of the reception was clouded by the perception of what a Saints Row game should be, and because it wasn't a Saints Row game, it wasn't considered a good game. But is it actually a good game but just not a good Saints Row game, at least in concept? Like, if they called it their own thing, you know? But obviously then you wouldn't be able to trade on the Saints Row name, which is almost half the reason why it exists, right? To get that Saints Row money. Because I heard some people describe it as, like, the Saints Row fandom, as it were, is apparently a little bit divided in terms of what Saints Row is. Like, is it a slightly more grounded experience like Saints Row 2? Is it a slightly more zany experience like Saints Row 4? What is a Saints Row game? So it's almost hard to make one because there are these two somewhat distinct camps of what constitutes a Saints Row game. The one thing I really dislike about Saints Row 4, because I did enjoy it, it wasn't terrible, was the fact that it really I didn't feel any need to drive a car in it, because, you know, you were superpowered, basically. By the same measure, I didn't really use any weapons. I just used the old fists, the dukes. Oh, I didn't even remember you could pimp cars, but you're right. It just felt like that was very much a leftover. Like, it was clearly Saints Row 3 and they just kind of added some other stuff onto it. But maybe they should have also taken some of the stuff out. Like, the vast majority of my encounters, I would just spend running around at like super speed, using some of the force powers, using some of the powers, and then just punching people otherwise, or doing the kind of pile driving wrestling moves that they do as like finishes or whatever. Almost home. Almost across the line. Oh, there's 3 of zombies. Okay. Well, I guess that was around the same time as like Red Dead Redemption, and they had the zombie. I can't remember the name of it, but the zombie expansion in that as well. That was definitely around the time of like the zombie renaissance, I guess you'd call it, where everything had to have zombies in it. Call of Duty, zombies. Okay, we've got some demo derbies. Demo derbies, even. Oh, we can do some limousine racing. Don't mind if I do, actually. We can pimp it. Hell. Yes. I'm so excited, chat. Just make this a little bit tougher. Oh, come on. I was hoping for the pipe to go the whole way down. Adjust your car's setup? Oh, it's just that. Okay. Well, no, we won't. This is going to be rough stuff, chat. This double loop circuit is always just a deathbed. Let's bring it up a little bit. I think we want limited slip because I think there's a pretty good chance we might end up losing a tire. I think you're probably correct. Particularly because we haven't done any kind of reinforcement down the middle. It's only around the driver. Not that that's, like, unimportant. But I think we should also focus on the structural kind of integrity of the vehicle as a whole. A little bit. Maybe just, like, as a treat. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, thinking about it, the ultimate racing game that we were talking about before, it would also be nice if it had like spin tires as off-roading potential. On the inside, Joe. Let's get Jenny to the prom. Yeah, give them something to actually do with the Unimog, you know? It's hard to just be a meme. It would be also interesting if you could do it like a ride-along inside the car. Like you could, your character could sit in like the passenger seat or something of your mate's car, assuming it's got a passenger seat. Yeah, I think it could be useful as just like a way to hang out and go for like a road trip with the boys. But it could also be useful as like a cinematography thing, having like the cameraman sitting inside the car. Or it could even be utilized as a kind of co-driver thing. Add some proper rally stuff. You could have a real co-driver in the car sitting next to you with a list of directions that they have to go through. Oh, you could put them in the back of the limousine, the Cadillac limo. I mean, it would really make the VW Combi van have an absolute purpose. Yeah, everyone on board needs to be wearing brown pants. No reason. Just, we've got like a dress code. That's all. I mean, not like driving in a tailgate party Dodge pickup truck would be any better. At least in my one, there's the possibility of having seatbelts in the back. I mean, another fantastic one would be the recently added Subaru Brat. You could have two people facing backwards in that bad boy. If you had like a person in each seat. Great minds, Shadow, great minds. That is a hell of a name, the guy in fourth. Ceferio Incarnate? Ceferio the Reincarnate? Oh, Sephiroth Reincarnate, perhaps? Is that it? Is that a Kingdom Hearts reference, perhaps? Having never played Kingdom Hearts, I cannot say for certain. Fog. Yeah, you need to add like face tracking in or whatever, like Star Citizen has, so you can see their face just being like, "Ah!" So we do have to buy a wagon because we need to do some hot wagon on wagon action. The Marquette, please. Okay, so this is a wagon as well. Interesting. Not my wagon, though. So we got the Hammerhead, which is a Euro wagon. That's the Volvo. This was the one I was thinking of before, the War Wagon. It's 15,000 credits. We can acquire that. What did we... So there's the War Wagons one here. Oh, but it can use any of them. Okay. And then there's that one, wagon versus wagon. Okay, so I guess there's a question then. Do we go Volvo? Volvo wagon? Or Griswold's wagon? It's slightly stronger. This has more gears though. Maybe not a sickometer, but like a pulse rate ometer. I think we'll go for the Volvo because it's better in the corners by a little bit. It's actually got a better PI overall. And it's a little bit cheaper as well, so saving some money. We're not adding too much to inflation. Rocket ride in a bucket seat. Let's get some upgrades on this bad boy. Actually, damn it, I keep doing that. Let's get some proper upgrades on this bad boy. Much better. What exhaust pipes you got? Side exhaust? Side exhaust only on one side. Double side for sure. Or bonnet exhaust. Bonnet exhaust would probably be the most sensible in terms of like it not getting knocked off. Get some air holes in there. Just spoiler? Try to get a spoiler. Get a front spoiler. Probably one of the few times where a bumper delete is not bad, but again, I won't do it though. Oh yes. Okay, good job we did those upgrades because this is a demolition derby and I didn't realize it. As is tradition, just like how I never realized there was a drift event in Need for Speed. Prepare to feel my Swedish wrath. Real wrestler move right there. I mean, yeah, a lot of them are very kind of scrap heap challenge. Just found a bit of scrap metal around the backyard and we're just going to weld it onto the roof. There, you got a spoiler. You want a front spoiler? Well, I got some more scrap metal. Luckily, this is built Swedish tough. Metal Mayhem, hey? I'll be the judge of that. I played that once when we went over to a friend of my mother's house and their kids had a PlayStation. And I remember there was some map, not too dissimilar to this, where at the beginning everyone would drive straight ahead and run into everything. And I remember my brother and I found that hilarious for some reason. Because it just seems so silly. Damn, that was a good hit. Target achieved. Hello, sir. I need to wreck you. I'm so pleased that demos are kind of making a comeback with the Steam Next Fest. I did miss demos where they kind of disappeared for quite a while. Yeah, it's kind of cool how they've got the drone above all the action. Like, they don't need to have it there, but it is a very nice touch. Mr. Wooly, stop! You've broken the law. Time to die. Wow, you're a tougher car than I thought you'd be. Our car definitely seems to be lifted up a lot more, but I think that's because our front bumper no longer exists. Yeah, I would like to be able to get more distance in like camera views as well and stuff like that. I was thinking that was one nice thing that they do in the Crew 2's camera views. You can rewind inside the camera view. You don't have to jump out, rewind, and then jump back into the camera. So there's no worry about missing that perfect jump or whatever. Surprise, the wrong guy. There we go. Total fails, or you have far too much health. Let's see if we... Did you kill yourself? You're in like half health, my guy. It's impressive. Come back, you possible Scotsman. Bring you and your St. Andrew's cross back. I think it is. Oh, that went well. I think I just damaged myself more than anything. Does it have the ice cream van noise to it? Because if that's the case, then yes, maybe I do. Come back here. I need to hit you, please. Got him. A very unceremonious conclusion to that. Look at that. There is so little engine there. That's just in our cockpit. Up. It's on fire. I was going to say, it's just gone through the firewall, and that's not good because it's just catching fire now. I forgot about the Sweet Tooth van from Twisted Metal. Speaking of which, have you had a look at the Twisted Metal TV show, Shadow? I've heard kind of mixed things about it. Probably 2 races if it's 200 points, isn't it? It's only... Oh, it's a multi-heat. Yeah, it was rough, huh? I'm probably going to call it there, chat, because it is 11 p.m. here and it is a school night, which means I need to go to bed because I've got work tomorrow, which sucks. But such is adult life, is it not? So if you hold on for just a second, we'll find somebody to raid to keep the stream going, as it were. Don't know if there's going to be too many people in Wreckfest. No, it's basically just myself. I think we might try at least and raid out to Cosmic Waff. Cosmic Waff. Hey, there we go. All right, chat. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. For however long you did, it has been appreciated regardless. We are going to raid out Cosmic Waff, who is currently doing some art. They are an English, or at least a streamer from the UK, with a fantastic accent, may I say. If you like what you saw and want to keep up to date with things, follow or join the Discord over here, or follow me on Twitter and or X over here. I will be back on Friday, which I think is a little bit over 48 hours or so at this point. Maybe a little bit under. For some Forza Horizon 5, getting that weekly grind on for the new Italian cars. And then on Saturday for some Car Mechanic Simulator. Until then, I hope you have a good week. Rest of your week, at least. And yes, let's go say hi to Cosmic Waff. Cheerio.